Well, ideally we'll shoot for around an hour and then run long with questions, so there's some very fast, but yeah. Yeah. Sorry about this. It's like that. Oh, that was. All right. So welcome everybody. This is Thesis Academy, session number 2. This is How to Wire Your Committee. Welcome to all you students who are here with us in person. Those of you who are joining us online, welcome. The idea about today's session is to have faculty from Boise State and sit and answer questions about the defense process, about any stress points, and even feeling the questions you have in your preparations. The idea of helping you prepare for an old defense, which may be coming up soon. Maybe you're looking at the spring. Ideally, we want to give you the tools to succeed in that. I think the best way to do that is to hear from faculty members who have participated as faculty and then also have been graduate students and speak to both ends of the equation. I have some questions that I will kind of keep the conversation rolling with as we get going. And you have questions, please stop me, throw up your hands, ask your questions that are pertinent to your defense or your situation. We can take this conversation whichever direction needs to go. This is totally open and conversational. So ideally, we'll just keep the ball rolling and we'll have a good hour of information. My name is Wayne Cochran. I'm the Graduate Student Success Coordinator here in the Graduate College. You'll see my face and name in a lot of places, especially when it comes to thesis and dissertation. The process here all comes through my office as far as the defense and preparations go. So that is kind of also an idea. When we get done, I'll kind of give you an idea of also how the GSSC can help you in that process as well. And hopefully we get lots of good information today. Today with us, we have Dr. Ian Robertson from our biology department. We have Dr. Vanessa Fry, and you are in the
School of Public Service.
School of Public Service. That's what I would have said. And on joining us on Zoom, we have Dr. Len Lee, who is in material science and engineering. So hopefully, the goal here is to kind of create enough wide enough swath. Realize you guys are all in different programs. You know, the overall structure is the same. We might have some different things you do in different settings. But we've got an overall view to where you can hopefully get some of your general questions asked about the defense process. So I will go ahead and get started. I have a question to kind of start the ball rolling. For those of you who are online, you can type your questions into the chat. We have a couple people in the back who will ferry those questions down to us to answer. Again, don't be shy about asking questions. That's the whole goal, is to start the conversation and have you ask your questions. So I will throw it out to the panel here. The initial question I get is fairly broad and we're going to hone down, but if a student comes to you and talks about a defense process and asks if they're ready, how would you answer that question, Emma? How do I know I'm ready to defend?
You want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, it's a longer term process with your committee where you're communicating with them in the sciences. You can develop a thesis, and usually it's a matter of just speaking with your advisor, and they would essentially say, I think you're ready to proceed to the next step. In my experience, the thesis sort of precedes that, and once the thesis is in a defendable state, that's when you can next step in the process.
Okay, so I think we're primarily talking about the dissertation and thesis defense. In the School of Public Service, we also have a proposal defense, so which kind of preps students a little bit, right? Gets them ready to know what's this whole defending thing all about. And so I think first and foremost, and I think we would probably all agree, it's really important that you have that close relationship with your committee and specifically your chair. They will and should not let you defend unless you're ready to defend, right? So I think it's really good just to ask that question up front. Like, hey, Dr. So-and-so, I want to work with you to really know that I'm ready to defend. And part of that process might even be doing some practice presentations with your chair aside of that for my defense.
Hi, so I'm material science and engineering, and my department's a little bit kind of like we recommend a student to provide to write a manuscript based thesis or dissertations. So what does it mean is like during the PhD or during the Master of Science studies, and then the student will work very closely with their collaborator, the co-workers, their supervisor, and on publications. So we always like suggest student publication, because like if the student have like, for example, 2 or 3 first author publication, and they can turn this into their dissertation or thesis chapters. So I'm not saying like you can completely copy and paste. It really depends on what your supervisor requirements is, and also about the copyright issue you have to deal with, like the journal. And it sometimes the journal will allow you to, you can just say copy and paste the whole first author paper as one of your dissertation or thesis chapter. But some probably say no, because the copyright is belong to the journals. If not, and then you may need to just like rewrite it, but the data is there, so it will make it much easier. So that's why my department will suggest the student, okay, have a manuscript based dissertation. And so think about like one manuscript and will be 1 chapter. So if you think you want to have, let's say, 5 chapters, and so first chapter will be introduction, the last chapter will be conclusion, and so that means you need a 3 chapter and for your results. So the 3 chapter means like if you have like 3 first author publication, and that means okay, you're ready for the dissertation and for the defense. So this is the my department and the suggestion and for the students.
So over the course of years, we've done this presentation, we've gathered some questions on a lot of student answers. And the next question kind of dovetails with that, because determining are you ready? What are the general expectations of the student who's ready? What should they shoot for? What is the general expectation the committee is looking for when a student defends?
And again, this is going to be different across colleges and programs, right? So it's really important that you hone in on what your college or program has offered in regards to what you need for the defense. So for the PhD program in the School of Public Service, we do a public defense. And so there's everything from making sure you've obviously got your committee in place to your graduate college representative, right? You need to have them in place. It's nice if you know who they are, just because it kind of creates a more like a more calm atmosphere. And then making sure that you have this space actually, right? So that was really important to like for our students to make sure you have this space in place. And then as far as expectations for the presentation itself goes, I think it's really important to remember you're not just presenting to your committee, you're presenting to people who come. This could be your family, it could be your mom, it could be your cousin, other colleagues. And so providing that background, you know, your motivation behind your research at the beginning is really important. And then working with your committee on length of the presentation and then all the points you're going to hit, right? Ultimately, and oftentimes if you're in a kind of a traditional one publication, like dissertation, kind of like a book, kind of follow through the chapters, right? You talk about the methodology, motivation, right? All those pieces. And then ultimately in the end, I think it's really important, probably regardless if it's a manuscript style or a traditional dissertation, you know, what's next? That's something that people want to know. Like, what are you going to do with this? What's next? What's the possibility for future research?
Yeah, those are all very good points. I think just basic sort of good public speaking practices is important. Not to have know your audience, like you said, not to have an excessive amount of jargon in your presentation. You're sort of speaking to a large group of people and trying to talk about what you've done over several years. And so you want to give that perspective. You want to keep it at a level that doesn't get into the weeds necessarily, but when it's appropriate, sometimes you do have some very specific details you're going to focus on. You shouldn't be reading it. You should be talking to your audience and not looking at the screen. Just giving a good overview and realize this is your chance to sort of put on display what you've accomplished over the last few years. And you're not being excessively judged by this. It's just simply like a presentation. Say, here's what I've done. Here's what I'm really pleased about and what I want you to know. And then provide that perspective and ask for questions at the end and just fill in this question.
Yeah, I agree. So for our field, it's very important is like to train the student to be independent researchers. So what does the independent researcher means is that you are the expert in what you're doing. And so, I mean, for the student, I always tell my student, when you feel ready, you could go to defense. Like you have to build up your confidence on what you're doing. And also you should believe that what you're going to present, you know the best. You should know better than your supervisor. And also you have to, I also agrees, and is like when you present your dissertation, and you're presenting to the general audience, and like even those the general audience probably is still in your same department, but you are the expert. Everybody work on something different, and then so you should have definitely cover some general enough the background, but you don't want to present the general background for 1 hour. So you have to maybe like within 20 minutes, you make sure, okay, already set up the general background and your audience can follow, and then go to present your method, and then go to present your results. And also kind of like don't kind of like have the sense of, oh, I have to answer every question. I have to be able to answer every question the committee member asked me, and otherwise I will be failed. No, you should give yourself some room and say, yeah, probably some of the comments like the review, your committee member raise up, and then you haven't thought of that. And so you could say, so, oh, thanks for your comments. And then you should probably, if you have a time to do it, and then you would like continue working on this and like make some change, improve your method, etc. So it is allowed like some question and you haven't thought like before your defense. And so, and if you have that kind of question you don't know how to answer, you say, oh, thanks for your comments. So it's to give yourself some room, like don't freak out and then during the defense, but enough is very important. Like you should also have the confidence. It's like you know the best, like the data you present. So I sometimes you will suggest some students like if it's something you don't have a confidence with, don't put in the defense or don't put in your presentations. And because once you know something you don't have a confidence on, and then you present it, and then you should keep in mind that and anything you present and people, your committee member, your audience will question about this. So that's I tell the student like how to better prepare, like how deep and how much you want to present in your defense.
To follow up with that, I know you guys, all three of you kind of touched on this in your answer there to that question. It's a follow-up question I get a lot. Then, well, as far as preparing for your defense, you decide how technical are you? Knowing each department is a little bit different as to how you put them together, but how in depth should you be for that audience? And then how would you go about addressing that or making that robust for the defense, and also including that later? Do you guys have any suggestions for how to do that effectively?
So we're talking about the presentation in advance.
Yeah.
Well, I think you want to provide that strong overview of what you're doing. But then you want to leave your strengths, what you found and what really excites you about your research, what you think is novel, where it fits into the larger field of study or discipline. And and then towards the end of it, you want to kind of summarize things up. But that perspective again too, and say, here's where my work is fit in, here's where the questions still remain, areas that are going to be great for the future. If you're finishing a PhD, maybe you've got postdoc, you can talk about where you want to go with that. So that's what I would do, lead with your strengths.
And I do think going back again to using your committee as a support system, there's I think all committees would review slides in advance, and they might say, oh, Vanessa, you totally left out this really important piece in the literature, for instance, or hey, you know what, remember that challenge you had when you were doing this research? It might be interesting to mention that, right? And talk about how you overcame that challenge. So I think sometimes when we're working on our dissertations, it's so much just about us, and we're like all by ourselves when we're doing these things for the most part. So sometimes going to someone else or even a colleague that's part of your program, like, oh, hey, can you take a look at this? Can I practice this? And I think to what you said, under no circumstances, at least in most, I think, fields, should you be reading your defense, right? Reading your presentation. Like that's just like my thing for like all presentations, right? Interact with the audience, look at them, like play off of them, right? Smile. enjoy yourself, right? This is the time to celebrate your hard work over the last couple of years.
Having other grad students watching in advance is, don't get a huge audience, because then you get too much noise coming back at you about how to change things. But if you have a few people you work with over the years and really value their opinions, let them hear what you have in mind, because I say, you kind of lost me on this slide, or, you know, you need to go into more detail, or you need to scale back. And you can use that to kind of fine tune, get the timing right. Because you don't want to have a defense where somebody's saying, well, we got to wrap up soon, and you're not halfway through. You know, you got to know where you're at. So get that advice, just don't ask for too much of it from too many people. Because then you're just swamped with white noise after a while.
Yeah, I agree. And before you defend, practice, very important. Make sure the time. If you have to make sure like how many, like sometimes a student will ask me how many slides like I need to have and in the defense. I said, well, it depends on how quick you speak. You don't want to go too quick. You don't want to be too slow. And so definitely, I would strongly recommend you practice like yourself first, like you use like a timer and see how many minutes. And also the other good thing is I record it when you practice yourself. And because after you record it and then you play back and then you say, oh yeah, that sounds very strange. Oh yeah, maybe I should not say in that way. So it's very helpful, I feel, even like for myself, and if I need to do an online courses, and then and when I hear back and then say, whoa, that sounds very strange. And so it's very helpful. I would strongly recommend you record your presentation, and then after that, maybe present in front of your other group members, because they know you very well, and you know for the past probably 2 or 5 years. And if possible, and you can present to your collaborator, other like outside of your groups, or maybe if you want, and you could even present to your family member. So because the family member will be your best general audience, if they can follow up on what you say, maybe not the detail, but at least generally know what you're talking about. And that should give you some confidence that, hey, the audience in your defense will be able to follow you. So that's my suggestion.
Let's pause it there for a moment. Do you want to have any questions? Kind of that's leads up to kind of how to get ready for the presentation, and then the next set of questions I have kind of series of conversation for kind of during the defense question period. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask relevant to this kind of first part of the process?
Have something else to
Yeah,
add
please do.
while you're all are thinking. And this, I say this to my colleagues all the time. We talk about it in our team at Policy Institute. I think it's really important to know where you're going to present and to be in that space prior to the day, and if possible, to test your slide deck out. I've been to a number of defenses where, you know, for whatever circumstance, someone hasn't been able to do that, and the color's off, right, or the format's off, and you just don't want that type of distraction on this very big day. I think also, like I had like, Lance, were you at my defense? I'm trying to remember if you're at my defense. I had like 50 people at my defense. I was like, okay, right, you know, so it was in a big room. It was in the lookout room in the sub, which was a beautiful space, but I really didn't think that many people were interested in my work. So it was kind of like I got there early and like was able to kind of talk to people as they came in, but knowing the space, knowing what the capacity is there going to be an online component or not? If there is, who's going to be monitoring that? Because hopefully it's not you. So you can ask a colleague to do that, maybe one of your committee members. So I think all that setup, knowing what you're going to wear, right? So I always say this, especially to women, are you seated or standing? Are you elevated or not? Like, what are you wearing? Make sure it's professionally appropriate, and be comfortable. So I think those are all, you know, the topic aside, it's really about like knowing the space, making sure everything's going to function well, making sure you're dressed for success and you feel confident.
Yeah, I want to add that this is a great idea. Because normally before your defense, and then definitely will have someone, probably your program coordinator will help you to find a room. Once you know which room, I would strongly recommend you to bring your laptop there and then test it. And it's sometimes it's definitely like I've been some dissertation or defense, and then like the animation doesn't work, and also like the color doesn't show up, it's just a wrong color, but the presenter didn't know, and then so the audience didn't follow very well. And so I would strongly recommend you go test. If you are going to probably like upload your PowerPoint and to the Google Doc and to the Google folder, and then download it to that computer and in that room, and then test it before your defense is very, very important. And so give yourself some space, some time, and then if you find something wrong, and you can maybe contact the technician before your defense, and also maybe go back home to modify the color, everything. So test it as soon as possible will be better.
Are there any questions? Okay. Well, so the next kind of phase that work with students on after we get into the actual presentation, at the very end of your presentation, knowing each college does things a little bit differently, but they're at the center of the end of it, you'll face the public, so to speak. The public will read your defense, will have a chance to ask questions of you and your defense. The question I get a lot is how do you handle tough questions, constructive criticism, or even questions you don't have the answer for in that moment after your presentation?
Yeah, I think it was touched on a little bit earlier, and I think it's really important to, you are the expert in your field, so you should be confident if you know the answers. But you should also be confident enough to know when you don't know the answer, and to be humble about it. So, it's a really good question. I'm not sure, I'd love to talk a little more about this, or don't get all defensive, don't get flustered. You just have to simply admit when you might not know something, and that's okay. That's sometimes people ask questions afterwards that are maybe out of left field. You really didn't expect anything like that, or maybe it's not even a great question, but you need to still address it. You do it politely and just say, that's an interesting thought. I hadn't really occurred to me, and maybe we can talk about this afterwards. It's a good way of deflecting it and get to the next question.
Mm-hmm. I think yeah, I've seen that. I've seen where someone asked a question and then like I thought, was that person here for this conversation? Right? There's like so out of left field, almost unrelated to the research, right? And so sometimes you can answer the question by kind of making clear the boundaries of your research and say, oh, great question. You know what? I didn't look into that for this part of the, my research, something along those lines, right? And maybe it's a good idea for next steps and you can circle back with that person, but sometimes the question could be just really unrelated. Especially I think with the public sometimes, and there's such complexity of issues. And again, we're like getting down to like such detail on the issues. They might ask a question that doesn't make sense even. Right. And so then like, you don't want to embarrass them either, but like, how do you kind of work through it in a way? Thank you so much for that question. I think it's always good to say, you could say, you know what, I don't know that off the top of my head. Let me connect with you afterwards. I'll get your contact info and I'll make sure to get back to you on that. Because sometimes people will ask in these questions. You might not know that answer off the top of your head.
Yep, I totally agree. Or sometimes, or maybe it depends on like probably I have seen, like for example, if like in my student defense, and then they did come across with some question and they didn't know how to answer, and then as a supervisor I will help like the student to break it down to the question, like break into some detail to guide him or guide the student to answer, like probably at least talk about something and relate it to the question. So sometimes probably you could have a conversation with your supervisor and say, hey, if there is something happened, and then could you maybe help me or break it down into the questions, more like detailed questions, and then so probably that would help you to find the answer. And the other way is just like, yeah, you have to keep in mind that like, yeah, you are not right, you are not the person who know everything, and so yeah, don't just like be okay. You say, oh, thanks for your questions, and then yeah, like say, I don't have the answer at this moment in my head, and then I would love to get back to you later, something like that. Or maybe thanks for your comments, and yeah, that's a very good suggestion, something like that. Yeah, that should be fine. I mean,
I did, yeah. So I would imagine, I mean, I've been around for a while, and probably the oldest student in the history of it. You know, you could do all the research in the world, and someone's gonna come up because they're not associated with it, with a great question that maybe you hadn't considered. I usually would just say, thank you for sharing that and write it down. Is there time between your defense and the actual awarding of it to fix that or to add that in?
Yeah, we're probably gonna talk about that to some
Okay.
extent, but it might come from the audience, might come from a committee member, and for some reason, no one caught it until that day. Right, like, oh, that is really good. I really should address that in here, because if I don't, something's gonna be missing now. You know, because once you know something and you know that it's missing, it's kind of hard just to let it be, right? You gotta kind of work it in.
Yeah.
So there is space, it depends on the time in the semester that you defend and the time that you all need the document for review before it gets finalized. But yeah, there's definitely time in between.
Defense committee kind of sets that up after the defense, they'll make recommendations of what's needed, and sometimes to say, when you go to, if it hasn't been published already, they might say, well, when you go to publish, you should consider this, don't worry about it for your dissertation. Because there are time constraints, and you might have other things you're moving on to, and can't stop everything and take another semester to do some new analysis or something like that. So there's always things that aren't in your thesis or dissertation.
I have another question. Earlier, it was mentioned that we should be aware of any IP or or copyright issues. Can you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, do you want to talk about that with the manuscript and?
Oh, yeah. So it depends, like in my field, and we have two types of the IP issue. One is like we can, when you publish a paper, and then you can choose to be open access. So normally if your paper is open access, and then when you public before to publish your paper, you have to pay for it, like to publish, because pay for the processing fee. And in my field is normally like $2,000 or $3,000 per manuscript. And so, but before they publish online, and then they will ask you to sign kind of contracts, and it's like, so this is an open access, everybody can use it and access it, access your data, etc., that kind of thing. And so if this is, so we call this an open access manuscript. And if this is an open access manuscript, and normally the journal will allow you to reuse this and maybe like reuse it in your dissertations. But if this is a not open access, means like you can publish in that journal, and but you don't need to pay anything. You don't need to pay the processing fee. So if the reader need to read your journal, and then they have to be a subscriber. So that we call this a non-open access manuscript. So for that kind of manuscript, and the license, the copyrights belong to the journal. So they will, if you can, normally you can go to their website and then look at what is the requirement if you want to reuse your manuscripts and in your dissertation. And I know normally you just need to contact the editor office and then tell them, hey, I'm going to reuse some of the information or some figures and in my dissertation, and can I get your permission for that? And they will definitely love you to. Normally will be no problems. So, but they probably just require you, okay, in your caption, and then you just write, oh, you get the permission from blah, blah, blah journal. So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I hope I answered your questions.
Thank you.
So the best way, just contact the journal editor's office. So they will guide you what you should do. Yeah, if you need to reuse those data. Yeah.
It's a question they get all the time. It happened a lot, and so my dissertation 20+ years ago emailed the journal, and they sent back a form, I think it said permission, and I had to, at the opening of the chapter, and say permission is provided by, it seems to stand for date or something like that. And you might have to put it in like their own font, not their fancy figures and their formatting. It might just be the sort of the initial manuscript form.
Okay.
And then to keep there on follow on that. a lot of the times the key there is just that communication, because each church journal, they say will have a different way, reference it this way, or here. You just want to put the citation where they prefer it to be, and I'd be to have a journal, yeah, student back into the journal so that I can use my work, so. You just have to kind of work with them so that it's being done properly. And yeah, we can help you navigate that if you need as well. We touched on it, your question was great, because my next question will go along the lines of that as well, to expand upon that. Eventually, after you do your defense, you've asked your questions, you more than likely are gonna have changes to make. I have very few students who come to me and say, yeah, my defense went well, and my committee said everything's fine, no changes. I mean, that usually doesn't happen, there's usually little things, something comes up, something needs to be tweaked, we're gonna move a figure here or there. So I guess, can you give the students a chance to expand upon how do you navigate that process? Or do you completed your defense, but you still have a little bit of work to do on the document before it comes in to the writer.
Well, I guess I would, maybe before you have your little defense, talk to your advisor and say, hey, would you take some notes while we're doing this? So that you're not trying to answer questions and writing down all the advice you're getting. You know, have somebody who can, probably your advisor, do that. And then have a debriefing afterwards and just say, these are the things you need to do to get this, to get the final reading approval in your thesis. And it comes in different forms. Sometimes the committee all the committee members want to see the changes. Often they'll defer to the major advisor and say, you know, I trust you'll make sure the student follows up with these things. You know, just take their comments seriously and make the changes that are needed. If you have questions, you can go back to them and say, is this what you meant? Or would this suffice? Or do you think it needs more? I mean, it's a process. Certainly in our department, a dissertation doesn't go to defense unless the committee's read it and said it's ready to go to, it's defendable. And I think, you know, we would all take the approach of if we have major concerns with the thesis ahead of time. We would say that ahead of time and say, before you schedule a defense, let's get this cleaned up. Okay. So you don't want to have a total, you know, boy, this whole thing has to be rewritten. I just don't see that happening. Shouldn't committees do this try?
I totally agree. Yeah, it should be. I think it's something, and maybe you talked about this in prior times together, but the process of the communication between you and your chair and the committee, like that is so important, that relationship and the way you set it up. You know, are you just communicating with your chair? Are you communicating with everyone? How are you getting feedback back? If they're giving conflicting feedback, you should make the choice, or does your chair make the choice? So it's really good to set that up before you're staying in the room defending. So that's good. And again, I think that most departments would require like a pretty final draft ready to go at the time of defense, like formatted, you know. So and then I think when you're sitting with the committee afterwards, and I think most programs do this, so you do the public defense and then you take questions to the public and then they leave, and then you sit with your committee and then you leave, and then you come back in and you're like, I hope they tell me I'm gonna pass, right? Sometimes the committee just like mine, for instance, was like, they had all these ideas and brainstorming, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do all this work. And then finally one of them said, oh no, I'm talking about like after you publish this, these are the things that would be really great to do next. And I said, okay, but it was really important to me to be really clear. Okay, this is like after this, not you want me to include it. So we really have clear communication. Okay, Dr. So-and-so, do you need that change now, or is it for a future publication? Right?
That is really important because, you know, I can just give an example where it's important how the committee needs to communicate. Because I've had a situation where a student gave me a version of their thesis, and I had some pretty serious concerns about something. And I said, here, you can't say this, you're going to change this, and rearrange this, and here's how you can do this. And then they didn't. They you know, in the defense, we went to defense. I said, okay. And now it was a case of, well, defend what you did. And I said, well, I thought you were just giving me a suggestion and I could take it or leave it. And it's like, well, it's giving me a suggestion based on my experience and expertise. And you did it wrong. And you're going to have to change it in order to have this be approved. So, you know, you don't want to, as a student, you don't want to have, you know, you want to be confident, but not arrogant. And if you're getting ideas on how to change things, you should talk to your advisor and say, well, what do you think? Is this a good point? And And, so there aren't surprises at your defense. You don't want those.
So to what degree can you work? I have 3 advisors. I have my main advisor. And he and I have a great relationship over the last 2 years. But I added 2 new advisors to my team, and they're in different departments. So I'm in anthropology, and I got an advisor in psychology as well as engineering. So how much do these advisors, how intimate can I get with these advisors? I mean, do I send them everything? Do I ask them questions ongoingly? Do I sit down and have meetings with them? I'm great for taking people to lunch, but I guess that's where I am at this point. We just did a defense of my proposal last semester, which was fun. But now I didn't really have my team until after that. So how involved can I get with my other advisor team?
They're a resource for you.
Pardon?
You should make the committee work for you. And they're there to help you with it. Unless somebody says, you know what, I don't need to see this, or, I don't have the time to deal with this, talk to your advisor, then you take those hints, right? But I would say that certainly my experience is that committees are underutilized. The students work only with their advisors. And then sometimes when it's sort of too late to have any course corrections, where you could have been talking with the committee and getting good ideas to make it a better piece of work, sort of avoid that process, and then, just too late again.
I just got my IRB application squared away. I should probably send all that material. Yeah,
Or either.
Yeah, I think it's good to set up like what the relationship is like, right? This is what our relationship's like, and I think what I've seen is some chairs really want everything to go through them. And some are like, share it with everybody, right? So I think it's really good to be clear. And then since you've got 3 people from 3 different departments, like have you all met? Do they know each other, right? So it's not only you building a relationship with them, it's them building a relationship with each other. So there's a clear understanding of how they're going to work as a team, right? Rather than as adversaries, which shouldn't happen, but I've seen it, right? Where they're just like, no, I think he should do this. No, I think he should do that. And you're like, well, and as a student, that puts you in a really awkward place. So it's good for them to have really clear understanding of what their jobs are and their relationship with one another.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like sometimes I also co-advise and with some students and with my colleagues but we understand and why we have to co-advise, and because I can bring in some expertise and my colleague cannot bring in, but he bring in something else. And so I think it's like I think that as a student, the good thing for a student is like you should know better, like which supervisor, which advisor will be good at what, or maybe. And so when you approach them, and then you could rephrase your sentence, and maybe like, for example, in my material science, I am more computational modeling expertise, and normally my colleague, they work on like experiments. And so if the student have any computational modeling question, and then they would just come to me, but they will not ask me experiment things. So when they go to my colleague, and they will just ask them the experimental question. So sometimes it's like you can control what questions and then like you want to ask, or maybe what part of your dissertation you want to show to the advisor, the co-advisor, then who has the expertise in.
You might want to run things through your main advisor first with rating. So if it's early drafts, don't send it to everybody initially. Just have your advisor look at it and say, is this ready to go to the other people?
Yeah, the things that I just completed are research questions, and so they should probably know what they are pretty quick. So it's not a lot.
Also, if you are looking to publish something, we mentioned having chapters be publications. You don't want to go through that process and have it accepted for publication if your committee as a whole hasn't seen it.
Yeah,
Because they're left out of the process. Then they could say, well, what is my role here? One thing, I have ideas, but it's too late now for me to weigh in. So you want to be respectful that way.
Yeah, start with that. Don't overwhelm them, but give them the meat.
Right, that could be, they can show how much they want to be part of the process. You might find that they're absolutely excited by it and want to be involved in their ideas that can be really helpful. Or they might say, well, just show me when you get a final draft, right?
I'll find it. Yeah, lunches coming up.
Yeah, I think being really clear too about your expectations for time of review. So, because maybe they're advising a bunch of students, right? And so you send them something and they probably send them. And they need a review, you can help them prioritize your work by saying, I'd like to have this by next Friday. Is it possible for you to write anything out by next Friday? I think having the, in your, whether it's in your proposal, after your proposal, really clear outline, goals and objectives and a time frame. And so you can also say, you know what, Dr. So-and-so, I'm really aiming to have chapter 1 done by this date. So I'm gonna need your review this far in advance, right? So like calendaring it out, but then it helps the team better prioritize you because they know, okay, this is his time frame.
Yeah, I agree. This is a very important because at the advisor, they have a variety of things, and so we really love the student give us a heads up. And I have some students, and then they will tell me, hey, like for example, Dr. Lee, I will have I plan on having my first round of the dissertation, but first like a draft of the dissertation by this day. And then do you think you can finish like the review, give me the feedback within blah, blah, blah day? And this is a very helpful. So I can help me to prioritize the work. So I will block that time and say, okay, yep, I will do it. And instead of like you give that, dissertation tonight and then ask, hey, can you review and give me the feedback? Like even you give them a week, say, well, no, I already have so many work already planned for this coming weeks. So give them a plan, some time frame, even it's not a confirmed time frame, but what like plan for it as early as you can, especially after like your proposal. Continue talking to your advisor and then also your committee member, what you plan for. Maybe tell them, hey, I plan on finishing all my work, maybe like in 2 years. And then like the last year, maybe like 2026 and the spring, I'm going to contribute my whole semester working on dissertation. Give them some time, like even the rough template, it will be always helpful.
Thank you.
Well, last question I have, and touch on this a little bit, is this last question. But generally, each defense obviously has a public portion as required. There's obviously a closed door portion usually, where committee members will meet with the individual student. Knowing that each situation there is different, what's the kind of general expectation of that closed door session as far as the student or the faculty, in your experience?
Well, it's it's a defense of your dissertation, so you're expected to have a very thorough understanding of what it is the significance is. I would say, in most cases, you shouldn't view it as being adversarial. It's more of it's a culminating event, and they're trying to, push you a little bit, maybe make you sweat a little bit, but it's more in the just sort of trying to maybe impress upon you how far you've come and how much there still is to know. And they want to sort of probe your level of understanding. And sometimes you'll have to say, like kind of like at the oral presentations, I'm not sure the answer. But you also don't want to get there's some things you should know. If you did a certain experiment or did a certain type of analysis, and they ask you about that, you shouldn't say something like, well, my advisor told me to. You're responsible for this. You need to provide an explanation of why it's the right thing to do, and what your understanding is. Try not to get defensive, overly defensive. That was actually something when I was master's defense or proposal or something like that. They, one of my advisors said, getting overly defensive, just take a breath, and we're not here to chastise you, or they're just trying to sort of point out some maybe inconsistencies, and it's good advice. It's just they're not there to tear a strip off. They're there to test your understanding of what you've done. So try to just keep that in mind. they're actually colleagues of yours that are interested in your success. And so they're trying to develop that.
And you do have the graduate faculty representative there who's making sure that the process is fair too, right? And so, I mean, I haven't heard of any circumstances at this university where things have gotten like really bad. But the graduate faculty representative, I imagine part of the job is to make sure that they get bad, right? That it's really fair, that the whole process goes as the policy says it should. So it's good to know that they're not anyone's advocate, they're an advocate for the process, right?
Yeah, I think if a student has a lot of trouble with a question, at some point, you sort of just say, okay, this is rather than just beating this horse and making the student just sort of continually have to deal with it. At some point, the rep might say, okay, maybe we move on to the topic now.
Yeah, I agree. So for my department, for us, our expectation is very important for us to the student understands what the research question, right? The whole, you spend your whole PhD, you spend your whole master, try to address. And so it's very important students have to tell the audience, tell the committees, and it's okay, what is the research question? What are the research questions? And you try to address for your past 5 years or your past 2 years. And then you have to convince the committee member, the audience, is like why the method you use and is effective and can help you accurately, effectively address that questions. And then you have to show this is like also convince like the results, and I show you is accurate. The results are accurate, and I already validate this, right? This is not just say, hey, I always worry the student would just kind of show me something they put in like in the microwave and so say, hey, I put in the stove and then cook and see, that's it. But I never validate this. And so this, I don't want to see the student just like, we call it like cook and see. We don't want that. We want the student really think about, okay, you put your sample, your material sample, and into the maybe a furnace, and then they turn out to be like that. And tell me, is it right or wrong? What do you see? Why you think is right? Why you think is wrong? So the validation process is also very important. I want to see the student actually include that kind of like thought process and when they conduct their research. And then the final thing I expect to see the student tell me, say, okay, you already spent your 5 years, you spend your 2 years, and what your research impacts are, and to the society, to the field, and to the world. What science, so because we are material science and engineering, so we care about like what science you generate. If you say, well, I just like do this research and then make this product, it's like, okay, what is the impact of your product? Is it make it faster, make the material stronger, better, make people like spend less money in the future, something like that? And so it's I think the whole defense is this is what the committee try to find is what is your impact, what's scientific like significant and you generate and in your research. And how do you think, hey, what you're showing is correct now? Okay, you have to show me you have some validation process. And yeah, so if the student can answer those, most of the actually the committee member, the question they ask is just like want the student to clarify some of the process, some of the result, help them to better understand and what they really did. Yeah.
I have one more question. I'll wrap up thing here, but I'll give a pause for a second. Are there any questions for our panel? You might be facing in your own preparations, something maybe we didn't cover today, that you have a question about or just want to discuss? I'll give you more to think about that. One more time at the end here. But the question I tend to always kind of end on, it's really broad one, so you can feel free to take it wherever you'd like. But as far as the student goes, if you could give them one tip for defense, what would be the most important tip you would give them? Knowing there's a lot of things to choose from there. So take your lead with that.
One thing that students never believed me, but it was told to me when I was a student was this is supposed to be a fun day for you to do this, but it's a big day, it's a culminating event. And yeah, it's stressful. I mean, it will always be really stressful, but everybody's pulling for you and have confidence in what you've done. Know what the limits are of what you've done. You know, we spoke about validation. That includes knowing when to say, I'm not sure, or there are still some uncertainties to the results I have. That's all fine. But just try to keep a positive attitude about the process. It's meant to be maybe hesitate to say celebration of what you've done, but it's a culminating event, and it's supposed to be just putting a final mark on this process you've been through for 2 or 5 years.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's like you get to showcase what you've been doing behind closed doors, right? Because people really like families, your colleagues, no one really gets to see, even your advisors, right? You're the one that knows everything you've done. So that opportunity to really showcase it, have people in the audience that are really excited and pulling for you. It should be a day that you're really proud of your students.
Yep, I totally agree. Confidence, very important. And I remember that's what my supervisor, when I was a PhD student, told me, is that he always says, Alandi, you should trust yourself. It's like you are the person who know your research the best. And no one will know more than you. No one will know what you're going to present more than you. And so, yeah, have the confidence. I think just enjoy the moment. This is a very important and very celebrating moment and of your life, and just enjoy it.
And I will also add to that too, lots of good tips today about how to work through with your faculty, with your advisors, with your peers. Also know the graduate college is here to support you as well. So if you do get to a moment where you're not sure how to schedule, where the form goes, just any part of the process goes, don't struggle in vain with that. Come see us here at the Graduate Student Success Center. We're right down the hall here in 117, here in the front hall. We can help address those issues. If you need us to put you in touch with somebody or open the challenge, that's kind of what we're here for as far as that process. So we want to try to help take some of that stress off your plate. You do have enough stress dealing with the work that you're doing. You should be able to focus on that work, on the process, so to speak. So please don't feel ashamed about throwing your hand up and saying, hey, I need help getting from point A to point B. That's what we like to do here.
Most departments have graduate coordinators.
Correct.
So you can get advice through them. Difficulties navigating.
All right, well, we'll throw it out one more time. Are there any other questions in the room or online before we kind of wrap up for today? Well, I want to thank everyone for coming. I do want to let everybody know my communications guy will not be nice to me if I don't announce this. Our video for session 1 is up on our YouTube page. So if you missed session 1 last Monday, and I think which would let me know where to go for that.
Can someone write the address for that YouTube page up on the board so we can grab it?
Yeah, I'll get it right.
Thanks.
Yep. So that is up. So if you missed session 1, please go back and watch the recording. And if you have any questions based on that session, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can just email success@boisestate.edu, just the simplest way to do it. Again, we're in room 117. Don't be afraid to just drop in with questions. We're here to help with the process. So our next session, just kind of where we're going, the next session will be a grad write session, which will focus on, we've kind of done the forms, we've talked about how to defend, and then the third session is, well, what now I have to put those suggestions and comments in that final paper and make sure it's ready to go for review. So our focus will kind of shift towards writing in session 3. Thesis Academy. I hope you all join us for that. That's coming up on Saturday, October 28th. You should get an email with some details on that as well here in the next couple of weeks. So be on the lookout for that. And if not, everyone have a great week. And I really appreciate your panel taking an hour out of their time to come and ask questions about defense. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was really helpful.
Thank you. Bye.
Excellent. Look forward to that segment.
Thank you, Wei.
Thank you, Len. I appreciate it.
Bye.
So what's your area?
Mine, yeah. Oh, I'm in the college of ed.
Okay. in the instructional, curriculum and instructional design. Yeah, master's or, the ED. Yeah. Yeah, and where are you in that? Done with your proposal?